Hey class, so in this video we're going to continue with our 3D design project. I'm just going to go over exporting images from your project and sharing the project. So there's a couple of settings that we have to look at, and then we're going to make a post on the Open Lab. So it'll be very similar to posts that we've made for our previous projects. You can just talk about what artwork you chose and why you chose it, and the process that you went through to upload it. And then I want you to export at least 5 different images from different angles. So people will see, it's a 3D design. We want to make sure that it's clear that we've done it in 3D. So we're going to make a post with at least 5 images of the design from different angles, a link to the design on Tinkercad, and I'll go over what that's going to look like. And then our typical project statement. Oh, I have a typo right here. Let me fix that real quick. So as usual, you'll have the project title, semester and year, created, software used, and then a 3 or 4 sentence description about the project. And then you'll just link to the Open Lab post. So you don't have to submit any files for this, like we did for some of our previous projects where we used Adobe applications and our, other software. For this, you're just going to submit a link to the Tinkercad project, which I'll be able to open up and take a look at what you did. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go over to my Tinkercad project, and I'm going to export some images first. So I'm going to open this guy. I'm going to click on Tinker this, and to export images, the easiest way to do this is to set your camera angle first. So for example, if I set this home angle, we'll see it from this perspective. It's pretty small, so actually, why don't we go ahead and just size it up real quick. Let's do this. There we go. And so that looks a little bit better. We want it to, be easy to see. So, we've got this sort of home perspective, then we could do the front perspective, and you might want to, once you go to the front perspective, you might want to kind of pan down a little bit, and we can export some different images. So the way that we can export images is if you go to send to. So you might think I should go to export, but that's just for 3D files. So if you wanted to add this into a 3D animation or a video game or make a 3D print, you could do that using an OBJ, a STL file that's usually for 3D printing, or a GLB that's kind of a more recent standard that you can use for video games and animation. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to export some images because we're not doing 3D animation in this class, although you will, if you're an animation major, you'll do some in the future, or if you take animation as an elective. Anyway, let's go ahead and click send to here. And you can download a picture of your design just by clicking on this download button. And it's just going to use whatever angle you have on your camera when you do it. So when I click that download button, you can see in our downloads, we've got this. Oh, let me move my download folder down here. Okay, so you can see that image. And you could crop it, you could Photoshop it a little bit, but we just want to kind of get the basic idea. So let's do a couple more views. So I'm going to go into front view. I'm going to hold shift and pan down a little bit, and then I'm going to download this. And so you can see when we go back to our downloads folder that we've got 2 different angles. And so we want to give a lot of different angles. So I'm going to rotate this around to really show off our design, although hopefully your design looks better than mine. So we have the, sort of 3/4 angle. We can go all the way to the right. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit on here and do another download. For the top, it's not going to be that interesting. So maybe we'll go to the other side and download another image. And let's see. So yeah, we've got 5 now, so that's pretty good. You could do more if you want, but just enough to kind of capture all the different angles and all the different details. Maybe even we could zoom in a little bit and get a nice close-up like that. That might look good. And so we'll just use these as our documentation for our project. And we'll also include a link to the model. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to go back to Tinkercad, so I'm just going to click on the Tinkercad logo. And so the other thing that we need is a link. When you open the project, so if you don't click on the Tinker this, if you click on the settings and go to properties, yeah, so if we go to settings and properties, there's a setting for privacy. And so you can make this public and other people will be able to see it. You can also use shared link, which will make it so that people with the link can see it and look at it. So if you don't want it to be public for whatever reason, you can use shared link and post a link. But if you're fine with it being public, that's a little bit, you can do that. That's a little easier. And you can just click save here, and it's gonna ask if I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. Oh, and you can also set the license here. So if you really don't, if you want to make it public, but you don't want people to use it, or you want to set the license for how people use it, you can set different licenses here. Okay, so now if I copy this link, oh, it doesn't, let's see. For some reason it didn't, I set it to public. It doesn't seem to have saved that, or at least it doesn't seem to know. Okay, so if I copy this link, it says private link for some reason, but I think it should be a public link. We can view it in 3D. It looks, it's rendering all that stuff. So let me test this link. So if I go to an incognito tab, okay, so it doesn't work for some reason. So let me pause for a second and make sure I'm doing the visibility right. Okay, so what I just noticed is it does say public up here, but it says pending. So hopefully we'll see. We'll come back in a moment. Maybe it'll be ready, but eventually you'll be able to share a public link. And either way, we can go over. So you would copy this link, and people who have that link, they can open your file and click on Tinker this, and it'll still show that you were the creator of it, but other people will be able to kind of remix it and make other things with it. So it's kind of a nice sharing mechanism. Okay, so we'll come back in a moment and see if it's ready, but for now, let's go ahead and create our post. So I'm going to go back to the Open Lab, and we're going to make a new post. So I'll click on the plus button. And so this is going to be our 3D design. And you can, name this the title of your project. For our categories, we might need to add actually a 3D design category because this is a new project. I'm going to add that category. That'll be available for you guys. So this is our 3D design project, and this is, yeah. And so I'm going to add in my images first. So I'm going to go back to the Finder and just grab all these images and just throw them in here. And so that creates a nice little gallery. And I'll probably just leave it like that. I think it actually looks pretty good, but let's preview, see what that gallery looks like. So that looks pretty good. The images are a bit small. So actually maybe what I would do is do a slightly smaller, or yeah, 2-column gallery, but maybe I would choose one image to kind of put down here, something like that. Set it up so there's kind of a good layout. Maybe I'll put this actually up here. So that looks kind of cool. So yeah, we just want to have a nice layout so you can kind of see everything. So let's set up our project statement. So we start with the title, Brancusi recreation. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be named after the artist. And semester / year is fall 2025. And then, I don't have that tab open anymore, but I think it's software. You don't have to include the title, these prompts either. Actually, usually we don't do that. So let's just do Brancusi recreation, fall 2025, Tinkercad, and then a 3 to 4 sentence description. So you could say, I was inspired by the Brancusi sculpture. What was the name of this sculpture? Portrait of Mademoiselle Pagani. Okay. And so then you can describe, anything else about your process or, whatever else you want to include. If you want to include a link to the sculpture, that's probably a good thing as well. So let's do that. So let's include a link here. And I don't need to embed it. Let's just do convert to link. And then you can link to your Tinkercad project. So link to my project. And this is where we're going to grab that public link. It's still pending, so I'm just going to copy this this private link for now, but hopefully, it'll be public soon. And if it, we can always swap out a new link if we need to. But that link should be able to, access your design. So let me reload this and see if it's still pending. Yeah, it's still pending. So we will, revisit that later, but hopefully you'll have a public link. So when you copy this, it should say public link, and I'll be able to access it. All right, so then once you're done with that, you can click publish, and we'll create our post. And we're almost done. Let's go over to Brightspace. Okay, so we're in Brightspace. I'm going to go to assignments. And we're going to go all the way down here to project 5, 3D modeling. And you want to make sure to review the rubric, make sure you've got everything that you need. And then you can submit the link here and click submit. It says there's okay, let me fix that real quick. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to update the assignment. So, yeah, we just want to submit our link, but actually not to Tinkercad. We want to submit our link to our post. So let's view the post, and we're going to grab that link, just copy and paste it in there, and then click submit. And that's everything we have to do. So I'll be able to access your Tinkercad file through the link, so you don't need to submit any files for this assignment. So that's it for this one. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Happy to go over things in office hours. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this unit. It's a little bit of a shorter unit, just a quick intro to some 3D design concepts. But hopefully you found it interesting. And if you want to do more of this stuff, you can look at the animation. 401 and 402 are kind of the 3D classes for animation, so those might be fun for you. All right, well, I'll see you guys in the next one.